If you're a coffee lover and a cheesecake fan, this dessert is about to blow your mind, an espresso cheesecake. It's creamy, rich, and has just the right amount of coffee flavor. It starts with an Oreo cookie crust, and instant espresso powder is stirred into the filling, and then it's topped with an espresso ganache to take it to the next level. Let's dive in and make this delicious treat together. First, start by preheating your oven to 350 degrees and position a rack in the center of your oven. Now let's start with our cookie crust. You're going to need 35 Oreo cookies, and you can either pulse them in a food processor or simply crush them by hand. Now I'm using gluten-free Oreos. I have a gluten allergy, so I love being able to make this cheesecake because it's so easy to make gluten-free. Just simply swap out the regular Oreos for the gluten-free ones and you're good to go. Now that you've got your cookie crumbs, you'll add in 5 tablespoons of melted butter. Just simply pulse it together until all the crumbs are nice and coated. We'll press that cookie mixture into a 9-inch springform pan firmly into the sides and then along the bottom. I like to use the bottom of a drinking cup to pack it down tightly. Pop that pan into your preheated 350-degree oven for 10 minutes. Once it's done, we'll lower the oven temperature to 325, and we'll just let that cool while we get the filling ready. Now let's make the cheesecake filling. We'll start by adding 32 ounces of softened cream cheese into our stand mixer, fitted with our paddle attachment. To that, we will add 1.5 cups of granulated sugar and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Cornstarch is my secret ingredient to making a creamy cheesecake and keeping the eggs from overcooking. You'll beat everything together on medium speed for about 3 to 4 minutes until it's nice and smooth. Next, add in a pinch of salt and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Just give that a quick mix, and now we're ready for the eggs. You'll add in 4 large eggs one at a time. You do want to use room temperature eggs so you get a smooth filling. I simply place mine in a dish of warm water for 10 minutes before I start. Make sure you beat for about a minute after each one so everything incorporates really well. Once the eggs are in, we'll add in 2/3 cup of sour cream and 2/3 cup of heavy cream. Make sure both are also at room temperature. Just mix it all up until it's smooth and creamy. Now for the fun part, we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of instant espresso powder, which might sound like a lot, but trust me on this is the perfect amount of coffee flavor. Now, if you can't find this instant espresso, you can always use instant coffee, but I do then recommend adding a bit more because it's not as strong. You're going to love the coffee kick it gives to the cheesecake. And now we're ready to bake. Before we pop this in the oven, we do need to prep our pan and prepare our water bath. The water bath is essential to creating a humid and moist environment so that cheesecake comes out with the silkiest filling. A water bath is simply placing your pan into a larger pan and filling that with water so that the cheesecake bakes surrounded by the water. Because of the water though, we do need to make sure that our pan is covered so that no water seeps in. A traditional method is usually to wrap the pan in about 3 layers of tin foil, but my foolproof method, I like to place the pan into a larger cake pan. I'm using this 10-inch silicone cake pan. That way there's absolutely no way any water is getting in and ruining our beautiful cheesecake. Once the pan is covered, you'll place it into a larger pan. I'm using a large roasting pan. Just choose a pan that's going to be larger than your cheesecake pan. Once the cheesecake is ready, you want to carefully pour in about 2 quarts of boiling water into the roasting pan. You want the water to reach about halfway up the sides of the springform pan. I like to wait to do this once my pan is in the oven so that I don't have to worry about trying to travel with this pan full of water across my kitchen. Now our cheesecake is ready to bake for about 80 to 90 minutes. You want the edges to be set and slightly golden, but the center should still be a little wobbly. It will continue to set up as it cools. You don't want to bake it until it's set in the middle, otherwise then it's overbaked and most likely will crack. Now the key to a perfectly cooked cheesecake is letting the cheesecake cool slowly in the oven once it's done baking. You want to turn off the oven and leave the oven door open for another hour. This will allow the cheesecake to cool slowly and prevent it from cracking. After that, cover the cheesecake with a paper towel on top. This helps to soak up any condensation. And then I simply wrap it with some foil. I pop it in the fridge overnight to chill. Now, before we serve the cheesecake, we are going to add another layer of espresso by adding a ganache on top. In a saucepan, you'll heat a 1/2 cup of heavy cream over medium heat until it's just simmering, or you can simply use your microwave for about 1 minute until it's very hot. You'll stir in 1.5 teaspoons of instant espresso powder until it dissolves. And to the hot cream, I'm going to add 4 ounces of chopped dark chocolate, or you could use chocolate chips and let it sit for about 5 minutes. Don't stir it just yet. You want to let it sit so that chocolate can melt and it gets all silky. After the 5 minutes are up, whisk it until it's smooth and glossy. and then let it sit for about another 10 minutes. This is gonna help allow it to thicken a bit. Once the ganache is ready, simply pour it over the top of your chilled cheesecake. Just use a spatula to smooth it out, pop it back into your fridge for another 15 minutes to set. And there you have it, a gorgeous espresso cheesecake with a rich chocolate ganache topping. It's creamy, decadent, and full of coffee goodness. I like to serve mine with a little whipped cream on top for that extra special touch. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you try this espresso cheesecake, let me know how it turns out in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on any notifications so you never miss out on any of these delicious recipes. And until next time, happy baking.